Thanks for hanging with us. You're watching FanDuel Sportsbook's More Ways to Win. I'm your host, Lisa Kerney, live in our Los Angeles studio alongside our sports betting expert, the man, Dave Weaver. It's week 15, my man.
Unreal.
What? How did we get here? We are betting the biggest matchups of the week, as we do always. Dave and the rest of our experts giving you their expert analysis for those games. We're handing out best bets, and we have our best value DFS plays as well. We're updating MVP odds, Super Bowl odds. It is go time, so make sure you download the FanDuel Sportsbook app, sign up for your new account, plug in the promo code MOREWAYS1000 to get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. All right, we don't waste time here. Time to kick this thing off with two potential playoff teams facing off in Baltimore. We've got the 10-3 Packers at the 8-5 Ravens. Packers now in first place in the NFC. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers absolutely hot. 10 touchdowns, 0 picks in his last 3, averaging 344 yards passing in those games. Now, big news for the Ravens. Head coach John Harbaugh says he expects quarterback Lamar Jackson to play in this one after suffering that ankle sprain last week. Ravens 4.5-point home underdogs here in this matchup. Dave and Pony, let's go ahead and bet this thing. It's a lot of points to be getting at home for an 8-5 team. Dave, do you agree?
It's a lot of points unless you're playing the Packers, because no team has covered more this year in the NFL than the Green Bay Packers. 11-2 against the spread. That is best of any team, and I think they'll get the job done here as well. It's amazing you said that Baltimore is 8-5, because when you look at the injuries that they've sustained, even before the season started, losing their 2 running backs, and throughout the season, they've just been so banged up. So the fact they're still in first is truly amazing with what they've had, but just too many injuries for me. The Packers seem to always get the job done, Pony. I think they'll do it again.
Yeah, but a lot of their road wins are late, last-second, nip-and-tuck games that come down to the last 2 minutes. And so the line here, I think, takes me to the Baltimore Ravens. The Packers have one road win all year by more than a field goal, and that was on the road in Chicago against the Bears. So unless you think these Ravens, as injury-depleted as Dave made them sound, are similar to the Bears, then the Ravens are either going to win this game outright or lose a very close game. 4.5, I think that is a great number to take the Ravens.
Okay, and speaking of injuries, Rodgers said he definitely had a setback with that fractured toe in the Packers win over the Bears. Keep that in mind. Playing through pain here, let's get to our right take here with our NFL expert, Cole Wright, joining us from Chicago. Cole, what up? You heard the guys' picks. Which team do you have winning and by how many points here?
Well, gang, I'm no math major, but Green Bay's path to that 14-win season, and it all starts versus Baltimore. Now, the Packers and Aaron Rodgers, they put on a second-half clinic, as we saw, versus the Chicago Bears. Aaron, a 4-pack of touchdowns en route to win number 10. Now, Devontae Adams, he was in lockstep with number 12. We saw him go big on Sunday Night Football. Matt LaFleur's squad, they're going to need more of the same, well, if they want to string together back-to-back wins after that. Now, Baltimore, we know they've dropped 3 of their last 5 back-to-back games versus division opponents, and whether or not Lamar Jackson is at full strength for the entire game or not, Green Bay, plain and simple right now, they're just a machine. I'm going to go with Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers' toe. 34-21 in this one.
Do you need that picture again? You put it right up there.
I don't want to see no more pictures. I don't want to see it anymore.
Tell you what, though, if you roll with Aaron Rodgers and the toe and the Packers, you give the points here a winning $50 bet. Means you're going to collect more than $94. It's the FanDuel Sportsbook app. And here we go with our FanDuel Sportsbook Week 15 preview for the New York Giants. A special shout out to our viewers watching with us on MSG as we get right into it, guys. A big NFC East rivalry game here for the Giants this week as they host the Dallas Cowboys. Mike Glennon expected to get the start at quarterback for the 3rd straight game. Daniel Jones sitting another one out with that neck injury. Glennon was the starter in Week 5. When you look back when these two teams faced off in Dallas, the Giants lost that one 44-20. Andrew Filipponi, the Giants are getting 10.5. Which side do you like here?
Well, these games and where they're played, that matters, okay? So home and away splits are a big deal to me. The Giants defensively have been excellent at home. 3 consecutive wins. An opponent hasn't scored more than 16 against them. So Dak Prescott owns the Giants. He's won 8 straight games against them. But I don't think he can cover the big number away from Big D, even with Mike Glennon in the lineup. So I'm going to take all those points and bet the Giants, Dave.
Apparently it doesn't matter because the Cowboys are 7-2 last 9 games against the Giants overall, and they're 3-1 against the spread in New York. This just seems too easy to me that the Cowboys are going to blow them out again like they did last time out. Should be able to dominate the trenches on both sides of the ball. Too much talent on these offensive players for the Cowboys versus what the Giants are bringing to the table. I'll take the Cowboys. I think this is one of the easier picks of the week.
Great stuff, guys. Let's go a bit deeper on this Cowboys and Giants matchup here and use our next-gen stats to get an analytical perspective on this game. Of course, we know by now it's Week 15. The NFL analyzes the location, speed, and acceleration of every player on every play, creates these various data sets that we get to tap into here on More Ways to Win. Ed Egros is our analytics guy. He's giving us a next-gen stat he is using to bet this Dallas-New York game. Hey, Ed.
Cowboys fans should be worried about Dak Prescott for two reasons. He's consistently struggled in road games, and he hasn't looked like himself since returning from injury back in Week 9. Let's look at his pass chart from last week's win over Washington. Dallas did not win that game because of its quarterback. Prescott completed just 56% of his passes with an average depth of target of 6.5 yards. That's one of the shallower averages of the week. If you're throwing short, you have to make a lot more of those. Ultimately, his completion percentage over expected was negative 12.2%. That was fourth worst among qualifiers. Prescott has his top trio of receivers who, on average, had 3.3 yards of separation from defenders, and it was still a rough day at the office. Sunday's game is at the Giants. The health concerns still exist, and until both dynamics can be proven unimportant, this line is simply too big. I'm going to take the points.
Thank you, Ed. Awesome stuff there from our next-gen stats. Giants fans, if you like to tail Ed here and take your team and the points, you do you. A winning $50 bet means you're going to collect more than $95. And a reminder, you can make your first bet on the app risk-free right now. Just sign up for a new FanDuel Sportsbook account using the promo code MOREWAYS1000. You are going to get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. Again, that's promo code MOREWAYS1000. And you heard it. The Giants are home this week, which means the party this weekend is going down in New Jersey, and the FanDuel Sportsbook at the Meadowlands is absolutely the place to be. The FanDuel Sportsbook, it's open 7 days a week as we take you inside here. Watch, wager, win with your favorite teams, favorite players. The Sportsbook located across the parking lot from MetLife Stadium, and it is so easy to get to, guys. I say this every week. On game day, just hop that free round-trip shuttle from Lot G. And if you don't have a parking pass, that's all good, too. Just head to Red's Restaurant in Carlstadt, catch the $10 shuttle to MetLife Stadium, and then head to Lot G and hop that free ride right into the FanDuel Sportsbook. Mass transit is, of course, available as well. The FanDuel Sportsbook, dozens of massive screens playing all the games. You got drinks, food, self-betting machines as well. It is all there for you at the Meadowlands. So get your friends, come out for an awesome time Sunday or any day of the week. This is your official invitation. And I'm inviting you now to tune in with us for our DFS download, which we're going to do right now. Of course, that means a chance to win millions in prizes for free. Yes, FanDuel's hooking it up for you for free, and it is going down every single week. Just head to FanDuel.com, sign up for the weekly DFS contest, and compete each week for free. Sign up, set your roster, play, and win. Our job here on More Ways to Win is to help you score those points. So FanDuel editor-in-chief JJ Zacharysen's in-house with us with his best value plays here for Week 15. Hey, JJ.
Hey, Lisa. All three of my values this week play the same position, the wide receiver position. And let's start with Gabriel Davis of the Buffalo Bills. This season, Davis has been a part-time player in this offense. Before Week 14 against Tampa Bay, his highest snap share in a single game, it was just 52%. But he played 83% of Buffalo snaps in Week 14, and that was because Emmanuel Sanders hurt his knee, and now Sanders is likely out in Week 15. That means Davis is very much in play. He had about a 16% target share last week, and if he can hit that mark once again, he should have no trouble paying off this super cheap $4,900 price tag. There's also Devontae Parker. Parker's a little bit banged up. We'll see if he ends up going, but he does get the Jets this week, which is a plus matchup with looking at adjusted fantasy points allowed. He's averaged 67.5 receiving yards per game with Tua Tagovailoa this year, and he's hit a 21% target share in 3 of his 4 games with Tua. So at $5,800, I think he makes a ton of sense as well in a pretty good matchup. And then lastly, there's Van Jefferson. Jefferson has been a top 30 wide receiver in each of his last 3 games. The Rams get the Seahawks this week, and Seattle's actually been pretty good in adjusted fantasy points allowed to wide receivers this year. But as it stands, Jefferson's looking like the number 2 option in this Rams offense with OBJ on the COVID list. So at $6,200 in this explosive Rams offense, I really like Van Jefferson.
I really like Van Jefferson, too. That is the value I'm looking for. Thank you, JJ. There you have it. Go to FanDuel.com. Sign up for free DFS competitions right now and each week of this NFL season. Use JJ's information for a chance to win millions in prizes. Of course, follow our expert at Late Round QB on Twitter and Instagram. And right now, let's get back to our game previews and break down the 9-4 Titans at the 6-1 Steelers. The Titans ended their 2-game losing streak with a shutout win over the Jags last week. A lot going on there. Tennessee turned the ball over 9 times in those 2 losses, but had 4 interceptions against Jacksonville. Okay, Pittsburgh struggling stopping the run, giving up the 3rd most rushing yards per game, including 242 yards in a loss in Minnesota last week. Hey, here we go. Week 15, it's a wash, let's go. Steelers getting 1.5 points in this matchup. Pony, you are the sports voice in Pittsburgh. You follow this team very closely. Do you like them in this spot?
Yeah, thank goodness Derrick Henry isn't playing with the numbers you just gave there, Lisa. That's why I like the Steelers. The quarterback matchup, I think right now, believe it or not, favors Ben Roethlisberger. He has found a fountain of youth, so to speak, lately. 4th quarter, he comes alive in games. He has the most 4th quarter touchdowns of any quarterback in the NFL. He is 4th in passer rating late in games. Tannehill has struggled without Henry, Dave. This is a do-or-die game for the Steelers, and I think they win outright in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I told you a few weeks ago, I think that Tennessee will lose out. I forgot that they get to play Jacksonville last week, but I don't see them beating the Steelers in this spot. If I lose my money to Deonta Foreman and Jeff Swaim, I'm okay with that because these guys are not beating us, Pony. Steelers win this game.
Here we go, moving on to the bright lights in Week 15. On Sunday night, we've got 2 NFC South teams going at it here. This one is going to be great. You heard me say it. 6-7 Saints in Tampa facing Tom Brady and the 10-3 Bucks. The Saints ended their 5-game losing streak with a 30-9 win last week against the Jets. You see that momentum right there? The 30 points were the most scored by New Orleans since they beat the Bucks in Week 8. Tampa has won 4 in a row. The Bucks have the number 1 total offense, passing offense, and scoring offense. And Tampa is giving 10.5 points here. Dave, can they cover that number?
Can they cover? They dominate the Bucks. They have actually beat the Bucks, not covered, but beaten the Bucks in 6 straight games. And you're going to give Sean Payton and his team 10.5 points. Tom Brady, Pony, is the Cole is a front runner for MVP. If he played the Saints every game, he wouldn't be in the discussion. The last 3 regular season games against them, 9 sacks, 7 picks. It's not the same Tom Brady when he goes up against Sean Payton. Way too many points.
Well, Dave, I'll tell you what, Pony and I, we both have those nice lineups on the beard, so I understand the confusion. But, I sat here and told you after the Bucs fell in Week 10 to Washington to expect a huge run. And what are they doing right now? Well, they're off to the races. 4-game winning streak. Tom Brady and Tampa Bay's offense averaging close to 33 points per game. And the 4 teams left on their schedule, well, the whole quartet, sub-500 records. Chris Godwin, he's been balling out back-to-back games with 100-plus receiving yards. And then we know that Lombardi Lenny, he's been going over 100 rushing yards in 2 of the last 3. And the Saints, they did win the last time they met up in Week 9. But I think you can throw all those numbers out the window because, like we said, last time the Bucs lost 2 in a row, and they didn't lose any more en route to a Lombardi trophy. So Tampa Bay all the way in this one, 28-20, Weaver.
And hey, a special shout out for our viewers in Chicago watching on NBC Sports Chicago. We always love having you with us. We're breaking down the Bears Week 15 matchup in prime time on Monday night. Bears hosting the Minnesota Vikings. Quarterback Justin Fields is coming off that career-high 224 yards passing and 2-touchdown game in that losing effort against the Packers last week. Chicago is getting 3.5 points in this matchup. Cole, you're in Chicago, so absolutely curious to get your take. But Andrew Filipponi, I'm coming to you first. Let's start with your pick.
Well, when we first put this graphic up, I thought there was something wrong with it. I could not believe that the line was only 3.5, that Minnesota should be favored by 4. against a Bears team that's won, one game in the last 2 months. But then I remembered, Cole, that the last couple of times we saw Minnesota on the road, they went to San Francisco and Kirk Cousins lined up under the guard late in the game in a pivotal spot, and they had to burn a timeout. And then the last time, they lost to Detroit. So I actually think Chicago's a value play here. They're a moneyline moneymaker for me in this game, Cole.
Well, Pony, I think last time I said I was the dude who wasn't going to fall for that Chicago Bears banana in the tailpipe, but here we are once again. And the main reason for my encouraging thoughts for Bears fans, well, it has to be last week's first half versus the Green Bay Packers and Week 13, what we saw, the Lions and Vikings, that matchup, well, it went sideways for Minnesota. Now, when it comes to Matt Nagy and Bill Lazor, if they can somehow, some way craft up some kind of game plan to get David Montgomery incorporated into the offense, last week's second half, just one touch, that's not going to do it, especially when you see Justin Fields, a guy who's finally starting to chip off some of that rust right there and show that he does belong in the National Football League. And like I've said here many times before, I plain and simply just don't believe in the Minnesota Vikings. So I think the Bears go out there and they get the win, 20-17, close shave.
All right, guys, we dipped in on next-gen stats earlier in the show, and we're coming back for more. Yes. For that, we turn back to our analytics expert, Ed Egros, giving us 3 bets based on that next-level data that can help us find good value bets on the FanDuel Sportsbook app for Week 15. Hi again, Ed.
We're far enough removed from Russell Wilson's hand problem that we've seen him play well again. Combine that with a solid start to the season, and as we take a look at his quarterback grid for the entire campaign, Wilson is performing at or better than league average at some of the most important parts of the field. Specifically, I want to talk about the receiver routes he most often throws to, because they've largely turned out okay for Seattle. Crossing routes over the middle of the field have a great, outstanding mark of 24.3 expected points added. Hitch routes could be better. That's had negative results. Out routes toward the sidelines, they're okay at 7.7 EPA. And go routes, utilizing the speed of Wilson's receivers, are not bad at 3.4 EPA. Wilson didn't finish the first meeting against the Rams. Assuming he stays healthy, I think that game will be a good bit closer, so I'm going to take the points. Next, Falcons beat the Panthers, even though the Carolina plan was to stack the box, force Atlanta to beat them throwing the ball. Well, the Falcons stubbornly stuck to the ground, and Cordero Patterson had a so-so day because of it. 58 rushing yards and a score. Patterson ran into a loaded box where there are more defenders than blockers 75% of the time. Patterson tried to run to the outside of the melee 75% of the time, but he wasn't too successful in this approach, finishing with a -4 rushing yards over expected mark. The important point, though, is everything was stacked against him, no pun intended, and the Falcons still produced enough offense to keep it going and ultimately win the football game. I think they can cover a large number against the 49ers. Finally, the award for Best Skill Position Player on a Lackluster Team goes to Houston Texans wide receiver Brandon Cooks. I've talked about him before, and I'm going to do it again. Here's his route chart against Seattle. He stayed mostly on the right side of the field, getting open nearly 2/3 of the time, meaning the nearest defender was at least 3 yards away. Cooks shined the most when playing from the slot. His quarterback's passer rating when Cooks was targeted in the slot was 108.3. That's not too shabby. All of that green you see signifies yards after the catch, and there were a lot of them. His yak over expected was 3.3 yards. That's a top 20 number for the week. Cooks should be even healthier than he was last week, and against a defense like Jacksonville's, I'm going to take Houston as a moneyline moneymaker.
Boom. Thank you, Ed. Awesome stuff. Take that information and use it to place your bets now on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You can place a wager on the bets we talked about or hundreds of others available right now. Find those moneyline moneymakers. Just keep scrolling. They're all there for you on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. All right, team, time to focus on our betting markets with some game previews now. We're shouting out your local teams as we rip through more of the Week 15 slate. FanDuel Sportsbook breakdown starts right now. We've got Washington at Philadelphia, both teams sitting here 6 and 7. And hey, special shout out for our viewers with us in Virginia watching on NBC Sports Washington, and viewers in Philly watching on NBC Sports Philadelphia as well. We love having you with us here. Thanks for joining us. This will be a battle of strengths. The Eagles lead the NFL with 160 yards rushing per game. You've got Washington gives up less than 94 yards per game on the ground. That is 5th best in the league. Eagles are 7-point home favorites in this matchup. Dave Weaver, who do you like here?
This is the most important game, I think, this week to keep an eye on the injury report, because we don't know up to this minute who is playing. Terry McLaurin, concussion protocol most of the week. Taylor Heineke left awkwardly in the fourth quarter briefly last week. Jalen Hurts for the Eagles missed week 13, but they had a bye last week. So I think that means he comes to this game healthy. The Eagles are healthier than Washington, and they will cover this touchdown spread. So I'll go Philadelphia.
And here we go with our FanDuel Sportsbook Week 15 preview for the Broncos. A special shout out to our viewers watching with us on altitude in Colorado. Thanks for joining us here. The 7-6 Broncos host the 7-6 Bengals, with both teams on the playoff bubble here. Very important game. Broncos coming off a 38-10 win against Detroit. The 38 most points Denver scored this year. They had a balanced offensive attack here. 174 yards through the air, 184 yards on the ground. We'll see what we get here in Week 15. Andrew Filipponi, the Broncos are giving 2.5.
Yeah, the last time Denver saw a running back like Joe Mixon, it was that Philadelphia ground game with dual threat Jalen Hurts, and they gave up 30 points. They gave up almost 6 yards per carry. I expect Cincinnati, less Burrow, more Mixon in a big game to go into Denver and cover the 2.5 and take this one. I'm going with the Bengals.
All right, New York, this one is for you. Our FanDuel Sportsbook Week 15 breakdown for your Jets. And shout out to all of you watching with us on MSG. Love having you with us here. Gangrene fell to 3-10 after last week's loss to the Saints. This week, the Jets are at the 6-7 Dolphins. Cole Wright's joining me here to bet this one. Jets getting 10, Cole. How are you feeling about this game?
Well, I don't know if you remember that website where Down on Their Luck participants were filmed as they engaged in fisticuffs. I forgot the name of the site, but that's what this game reminds me of. Jets, Dolphins, Robert Saleh, and Gangrene. They're already in 1-2-3 Bahamas mode. And meanwhile, the Fins, well, they haven't seen that annual implosion come around just quite yet, because they have won 5 straight and they're owners of a 4-3 win-loss mark at the house. Plus, when it comes to Tua, well, he's been efficient over his last 4 outings, just 1 interception. And Sunday, it's going to be a confidence builder for Brian Flores and the Dolphins. So I see the Fins going on and getting the win here. It's a moneyline moneymaker, 17-10 Miami.
Okay, lay that minus 460. Thank you, Cole. Time now to give some underdogs a little love, Cole. You've been rocking these moneyline moneymakers all season long, including picking the Falcons win on the road in Carolina last week. You know how I roll. Fist bump for you. Here we are in Week 15. I need to make some more money. Give us a couple underdogs that you think are going to win outright this week.
Okay, we'll get a load of this. Riverboat Ron in Washington, they won 4 of their last 5. And despite last week's loss to Dallas, they put up 20 second-half points. That's compared to 3 for the Cowboys. They didn't get the win, but either way, they did have a lot of confidence and they have some momentum. So the football team, I see them winning this one 24-14. Now, on to the most mercurial teams in all the league. Cincy and Denver, both sitting at 7-6. And I'm going to have to go with Pony. I like Cincinnati in this one because Joe Burrow, he looks sharp despite the overtime loss to San Francisco. So 27-24, put it on Cincinnati. You can hear the game on WKRP.
Awesome stuff, Cole. Thank you for the shout out there with WKRP. If you are a smart bettor, you're going to tail Cole's upset picks, by the way. But I totally respect if you do your thing, and right now you can place your bets risk-free up to $1,000 on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Just sign up for your new account, and all you got to do, new users, again, plug in that promo code MOREWAYS1000. Your first bet will be risk-free up to $1,000. And it gets better on this show because our experts bet it for you. I got to give a quick fist bump to Ed, by the way. He had the Broncos over 25.5 points, plus the Broncos alternate spread of minus 13.5. Anyone who tailed Ed's risk-free $1,000 bet would have collected almost $2,700 there in week 14. So we're going to get everyone's risk-free bets for this week. And Ed, we get to start with you. What you got, Ed?
Yes, I'm predictable. I get it. Alternate total in Falcons 49ers. Jimmy Garoppolo is 6th among all quarterbacks in total EPA. Atlanta plays at a fast tempo, so I'm expecting a lot of points. I'm going over 53.5 for a $1,000 risk-free bet. That'll get me a total of $3,300.
If it goes over, I'm hoping that it's mostly Niners points because I'm using San Francisco on the money line as a favorite, Packers on the money line as a favorite, and then throwing in the Steelers as a very slight underdog. Those three teams need to win, and I'll pick up about 3,600.
Yeah, I like a weekly special, guys. This is an interesting one. Either David Montgomery or Dalvin Cook to go over 100 yards rushing. Minnesota 27th against the run, Chicago 24th. You make this bet, you collect $2,000.
Okay, I like it. I like it all. Gamblers, I hope you like it too. Make sure to sign up for a FanDuel Sportsbook account right now to place your bets. And remember, use that promo code MOREWAYS1000 to get your risk-free bet up to $1,000. It's easy. It's legal. It is live right now. So just take your winnings if you hit and get your money back in site credit if you don't. Best mulligan in the business. You're welcome. All right, let's move on here. Let's take a look at a couple of popular futures bets on the board right now. The first one is the NFL regular season MVP. Tom Brady, of course, the odds-on favorite here at minus 155. But there are a lot of other great players in the hunt that could lead to a really good payout here. So we're going to update our odds here and update our bets. So let's get all of your best value picks here. And Dave, I'm coming to you first. Start us off here. What's the best value right now on the board?
Tom Brady plays some pretty good teams still that can stop his passing game. But Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers have some easy spots. They play Houston. They play the Raiders. Here's a guy in 28 career games. Only once has he not had a touchdown. He's a touchdown machine. I think he's a bit of a dark horse right now.
I suspect Tom Brady is running away with this award, but in case something unfortunate happens to him, who is my backup? Well, I think Matt Stafford has a legitimate chance here. Sean McVay, his head coach, may be the #1 play designer and play caller in football right now, and Stafford is going to be the beneficiary of that for the rest of the season. And especially given Cooper Kupp playing out of his mind right now, I think Stafford has a chance.
This award a lot of the times goes to the quarterback from the best team in the NFL. And when you look at Arizona's chance to be a 1 seed, Kyler Murray's odds, that's a good bet to me.
Pony, did we just become best friends? I think we did. What happened to Josh Allen now at plus 2,500? Because I am indeed rolling with Kyler Murray. He made winning look easy versus the Bears, slight hiccup versus the Rams, but the schedule, it's favorable for him and some more big numbers. Go with Kyler.
I think you guys just became best friends. Let's see what you've got for Super Bowl winners here. Let's rip through the same drill for these Super Bowl winners. Who's taking home the Lombardi Trophy? Who's lifting it up, I should say? Bucs favorite, of course, to repeat as champs right now. But there's some other great teams on the board that will lead to a big payout here. So, Dave, give me your best value bet to win it all.
They're going to need to stay hot, and they're probably going to need to run the table. But at the very bottom right there, the San Francisco 49ers at plus 3,400, a team that's already won 5 times on the road. They have no weaknesses. This is a very well-rounded team, and because they're so good on the road, they're going to need to do that in the postseason, but maybe they can run the table.
The AFC is completely random at this point. So let's assume it stays that way for the rest of the regular season. Well, I definitely want the AFC #1 seed as far as where I'm going to place my money. And the Tennessee Titans, if you look at all the possible scenarios, all the possible permutations for the rest of the season, the Titans get the 1 seed roughly a quarter of the time. They are going to get healthier, and Derrick Henry could be ready come playoff time. If the Titans get the 1 seed, watch out.
I'm going to go with the team in the AFC who we already know is the best running back in January, and that's Jonathan Taylor and the Colts. They can put up points. In 7 of their last 8 games, they've scored 30 or more. They've got great dark horse value.
Well, Pony, Arizona, 2 of their next 4 versus sub-500 teams. And if they can go out there and handle Indy and Dallas and then Detroit and Seattle, well, they should just be a walk in the park. And Green Bay stumbles, they can get a #1 seed and maybe find themselves with a little home field advantage. I'm still thinking Cardinals in this one. So, Pony, let's go kick some holes in pumpkins and do karate in the garage.
I love all that plus money. Great stuff by you guys. Again, you can place those bets, those futures bets right now on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Right now, I want to tell you about the FanDuel Casino app and how you can win extra bonuses by playing each weekend in December. Yes, extra bonuses. The FanDuel Casino app is a secure online casino that has the best online gaming action. FanDuel's partnered with the top gaming developers to help give players the most innovative online gaming experience, including live dealers for some of those table games as well. There are also a ton of promotions and bonuses that you can take advantage of, including the weekend bonus. All you have to do is opt in and then wager $100 or more over the weekend, any weekend in December. Win on any casino game and get up to a $25 bonus. Now, the bonus is based on total winnings over the weekend. You'll get 100% of your net winnings up to $25. So make sure to opt in, wager more than $100 on weekends in December, and take advantage of this special weekend bonus offer. Check out the FanDuel Casino app right now. Game picks, best bets. We talked casino, too. We covered it all here in Week 15. You can bet it right now. Did I mention that? FanDuel Sportsbook app. We talked about everything, all the bets. Just keep scrolling. It's all there. FanDuel Sportsbook app. Use that promo code MOREWAYS1000. You will get that risk-free bet up to $1,000 from all of us here at FanDuel. Thanks for hanging with us today. Thanks for hanging with this guy. We'll see you right back here next week. Enjoy the games and good luck.